To me, what's interesting about all of this is like his personal journey. And that one, I think, is worth making a movie about. It's probably not the definitive story of the UFC as a character focused story. I think it's a totally fine story. I think that is why people are talking about Oscar nominations, because I actually think Dwayne Johnson does bring Marqueur to life. You know, like if you put them next to each other, it's decently close. Like he tries to look like him as much as possible, and a lot of the mannerisms are pretty close from what I've seen. So this basically is an exercise in trying to be authentic as possible about this. And I can't bring myself to be mad about this because I'm always asking for that. My thing about biopics is I want to see what happened. Like I want you to tell me this person's story. And if you're lying about who this person was to a substantial degree, I'm going to be upset about that, and I'm going to take that personally, and then I'm going to view that as an attack on me. It's kind of a little bit weird that I'm so underwhelmed by this movie, but at the same time, it's kind of doing what I always ask for. And there's a bit of a weird sensation.
That's why they say you have to give the people what they don't know they want, essentially. And I know what you don't want is the typical biopic stories that we normally get, and I don't think that would be your flavor. But I don't know. I feel like they could have like maybe like reinvented it in some type of way where you didn't know you wanted it. And I'm trying to think of like a way that they could have done it. And I don't think I've seen it like a biopic recently enough to kind of like pull anything out. But it's funny that you say that. I don't know if you've had like that sensation with any other biopics before, where it's done what you've asked for, and you're like, this is not quite a good experience.
Yeah, it's weird. I think it's mostly because I'm getting a creepy vibe from Marker, though just the degree to which he's portrayed as a saint and how squeaky clean he comes across when he appears as himself. Like there's something off about this guy, and like I can't point to it. It's more like I have a feeling like I'm being lied to, and I can't prove it, and that's unnerving.
That's the other part where I kind of feel like again we're like chucked into his story just like randomly in the middle of it, because again I kind of get the same feeling of like a bit of uneasiness from him. But it even seems like when he's in the hospital waiting area or something, and he's explaining what UFC is to the old lady, and like whilst he says some like interesting stuff in there, it kind of comes off a little bit weird, and like how overly nice he is, and how like how much time it takes to kind of like really explain like what it is. But like by the end of it, you kind of like understand that it's because he's like passionate about it, and it's because like he really cares about like the sport and what he does. But when it's like that early in the movie, and it's like one of the first things you're kind of confronted with, I'm gonna be like, you're being a bit weird.